Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and I hope everyone has had a fantastic week. It has been a long week, and I think most of that has been due to the heat, ladies and gentlemen. But today we have heat relief, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's right. The temperature has dropped a little bit or enough for us to go outside and not feel like our skin is being pinched by, the heat this week. I'm telling you, I can honestly say that I have never felt anything like the heat that I have felt this week when I have come outside. But again, let me stay focused today. Happy Friday to all of you. It is Friday, July the 19th. It is a beautiful day outside, and I want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. Welcome again. It is our Let's Get Newsy show, ladies and gentlemen, and Bobby and I are, doing our double team, and we cannot wait to bring you some of the news and the hot topics that are definitely in the, in the news today. I also, it is a heat relief day, but I also want to ask you all, how did you all feel this morning when you woke up and you do your normal, especially if you work from home, you get up, you get your coffee, you go downstairs and you cut on your computer and you have a blue screen. Okay. A Microsoft outage caused by a faulty CrowdStrike software update caused the return of a familiar and dreaded screen for many Windows users. We call that the blue screen death, and it indicates that your computer systems are down. This outage this morning affected consumers, across the country, businesses, including airlines, banks, healthcare providers. There were people at the airport that I knew were flying out today that were affected by this. So as the weather, when you woke up this morning was in your favor, you woke up to a blue screen, but I think all has been taken care of, and know that it was not a, some kind of cyber attack on all of us, ladies and gentlemen. So I want you to know that. All right. Also, I want to send my prayers out to President Joseph Biden, ladies and gentlemen, as he battles COVID-19. And as many rumors are beginning to swirl that he may drop out of the presidential race. When Bobby comes on, we will, talk more about that. But for the most part, I want to send my prayers to Joe Biden, and let me go on the record saying again, I am voting blue. Okay, Joe Biden, look, you can walk up, if you decide to do it, you can have a cane or whatever. I'm going to vote for you. Know that I'm going to do that. Also, this week, we don't want you all to forget that there are some, holidays or recognitions that we need to talk about. And this one is not in the US, but in Singapore, they are celebrating Racial Harmony Day this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And it's to promote racial and ethnic harmony within their nation. And it's observed every year on the 21st. Can you imagine if we had a Racial Harmony Day in the United States? Let's be honest, we do need something like that. Also this weekend, it is National Daiquiri Day. For those of you who like to, get that special, something for your palate, ladies and gentlemen. So, please partake in that. And last but not least, this Sunday is National Ice Cream Day on July the 21st. And we said a couple of weeks ago that Tyra Banks, the business mogul and she was the creator of America's Next Top Model. She has opened up a ice cream parlor in the upper northwest section of DC called Smize and Dream, and in Woodley Park. And so it's open this weekend. And so if you get a chance, if you feel like, fighting the crowds, please go through and check that out. You might even see me up there. I'm lactose intolerant, but I think I might go past and, just check her out, see if she's there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show lined up for you tonight. So if you are ready, let's get on with the chat. Bobby,
Alvin,
What's happening?
my brother, how are you?
I'm good. Wait a minute. Okay, silly's out. Silly's out. How you doing, my brother?
We've been talking about this show for a minute, like getting it together and saying, okay, here we are. Tweedledee, Tweedledum.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bobby and I, our first time doing a Let's Get Newsy, just the two of us. So, we got some news for your astronaut tonight, also, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we do, and we're gonna spill the tea. Can we say hi to some of these folks that are in here?
Absolutely.
Hey, Michi, thank you for being here. Hey, Sean. Hey, Beth. Thank you for being here. Hey, brother Dwayne from Chicago. Thank you. And Kendall Fisher from Baltimore and signed on. Okay.
Hey.
Y'all come on in here tonight. How you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing good, you know.
Amen.
Yeah. And look, get your fingers ready because we're gonna ask you to weigh in on a topic during the chat. You know, right, Bobby? Yeah, we're gonna ask you to weigh in on something in a few minutes. But but first, last week, for those of you who tuned in, we had a very powerful show last week, and this is something that we don't do. We really don't like go back and say, you know, to talk about some things that happened during a previous show. But last week we broached a topic that we didn't know how to approach, and that is, you know, trauma in the church. Right. You know, in the Black church particularly. And we had a special guest on the show who wrote a book about his trauma in the church. And I cannot believe it, Bobby. Guess what? My book is upstairs. I was going to put it up, but it's upstairs.
Oh, you got it.
I do have it finally. It's upstairs. Dr. Raphael Hagins was here last week, and he wrote the book, Losing What I Never Had, Uncovering My Authentic Self.
Yeah. And it was quite an emotional experience for many of our viewers. And certainly I heard from my own housemates while we were on vacation. I came downstairs and literally their face was, oh my God, what an extraordinary testimony, a story of strength and survival and resilience, forgiveness, all of those things. And so it was really well responded to. I had a couple of friends that I've spoken to during the week who have told me that they've gone out and gotten the book because they really wanted to read some more and so forth. And I just thought that, you know, he handled our questioning, our response to his story and so forth in such a really professional and I think gracious way. And I really am intrigued to find out more about him. I know he's got other books out as well. And so we encourage all of our viewers to support this extraordinary author and guest of He Said.
Yes, and please go to our YouTube page if you guys haven't done so already and subscribe. He said live on our YouTube page. Please go there and please check out the show from last week and get the book. But check out the show from last week. I think you guys are going to like it.
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, Raw Health, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Have you been on vacation? Because I've missed you. We have missed you. So
good to have you.
Welcome back. Well, Bobby and I thought that we also wanted to talk about something that, you know, a lot of times people say that what happens in the summer that, you know, there's a lot of people getting angry because it's the heat or whatever. But I think in the summer, our pet peeves
just kind of they become a bit more peevy.
Yeah, we you know, a lot of times, you know, we can manage it, but our pet peeves come a bit, you know, I mean, just out of hand. So I want to put up, Bobby and I, we have our own, but we want to put up the top 8 pet peeves that we hear that people talk about. And one of them, number 1, people who hog the sidewalk when you walk. People who spit on the sidewalk when you're walking down, or it could be grass, in my opinion, sidewalk or anything. You spit in front of me, I can't stand it.
Right.
Being on the phone in public.
One of mine.
Yeah. Not replacing the toilet paper on the roll.
I live alone, so I don't have if it's not there, it's because I didn't do it. So
well, frequent coughing, and there's a couple of people on here who can who probably know me to know when you cough, I will run across the street. I will leave you standing there. Okay, so frequent coughing is a pet peeve of mine. Singing at a concert while the performer is singing. Stop that. Stop that.
So you're saying you expect people at a concert, they paid all this money, that they're going to be silent. There's never any singing along, or just when the artist requests you to sing along?
Let me say these are their top 8. That I pulled. I could take that a bit further. Singing, first of all, I don't want to hear. Okay. Oh, hey, Blue, how you doing?
Wait, which of these is Blue talking about? Though?
Oh my God, I didn't know he was on. He is notorious for singing at a concert. Yes, he is. Blue, that was not a dig. I didn't know you were on here. But
Blue, you are always on here. How does he not know that you're not on?
I didn't see him. This is a live show. Number 7. Okay. People who are one-uppers. You say something, they gotta one up. And viewers, please, if you got a pet peeve, throw one up in here, okay? Because we want to hear what you all got to say. And number 8, one of the tops is talking loud in public when you don't have to, and that's a restaurant thing with me.
Yeah,
I can't stand that. So, do you have any you want to share of your personal pet peeves, Bobby?
Well, before we get to that, we've got one that's come up. Oral Health says crossing the street while looking at their phone and running stop signs and red lights. Also, I'm not a fan of audience participation. Wait, does he mean like at a concert or something? Because he's participating. He's participating in our show right now. So.
Well, but no, I think he's talking about like at a concert or something like that. Don't you be driving Oral Health away. Oral Health, you participate all night long. Don't you?
Yeah, we want him to participate. Blue is like saying, yes, it was a dig, and you will pay. Like it is publicly stated, you are going to pay for that dig.
Blue, I'll give you another cup. Okay. All right. So, Bobby, do you have a pet peeve that
I do have difficulty with people talking loudly on the phone. Like if I'm on the bus or any kind of public transportation or even just out in the street, I should not have to hear all of your conversation. Mm-hmm. And I will say that is particularly so if you are on the phone and you reach a cash register, for instance, get off the phone. Handle your business. And then do what you got to do. Like when you're trying to talk, the cashier is asking you a question or something like that. And you're like, hold on 1 minute. Like that is very annoying to me. I'm like, handle your business so that other people can get through, So I've been on the phone with people in line. And when I get up to the cashier, I'm like, let me call you back because I need to handle the biz here. That's one of them.
I got a new one that developed after COVID. It kind of got on my nerves before COVID, but it's really on my nerves now. When I'm in church, and I hear high five your neighbor. I don't want to high five my neighbor. I don't want to do that. We are in COVID. I don't want to slap you. I don't want to do that because I have been in church, and as soon as I high five somebody, Al was pulling out his hand sanitizer and wiping his hands, and then they're looking at me.
I think you're not wiping your hand down or giving them the elbow.
Well, I'm just saying I will do it. That high five thing, they need to cut that out. Stop it. You can't come up with anything? Go ahead.
I do have one. Mm-hmm. When the plane lands and everybody's rushing to the front of the exit. Like, where are you going? Like, if you're in 14 and I'm in 12, let 11 out, then I'll go out. Like, there's a system that will allow all of us to get out. But if you're in 17.
Well, some people are dealing with anxieties on the plane. You know what I'm saying? They're already dealing with anxiety, so they just want to get off quick. I'm not making excuses for them.
And you sit in first class, so you can be amongst the first people getting off the plane.
Come on with that. Okay, wait a minute. Raw Health said when they're singing in public and they can't sing, that part. Sean says, touch your neighbor in church. That's it, Sean. No, sir. And Dwayne laughs and said, in a black church, they're going to say either hug your neighbor or tap your neighbor.
They are, absolutely.
Well, stop it. And Michael, welcome to the show. I don't think I've ever met Michael. Michael, welcome to the show. And Michael says it's rude to speak loud and have the speakerphone phone on. No one wants to hear the crazy conversations. That part. That
That part. Hey,
that
we
part.
even got a little bit of a participation from our own producer,
Uh-oh,
Norman.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He hates when people ask you to do things for them that they are not willing to do for you. Come on, dude, can I get a witness?
Norman, that might be the words of the week next week. Okay? Do unto me as I do unto you. Okay?
And certainly don't ask me to do something for you that I know you would not do for me.
See, don't make us have a pet peeve show, this whole show on pet peeve. Here's another thing. When I do something for you, you got to remind me that you're doing that when I ask you, no, when I do something for you and you need me to do something, you have to remind me that you did it for me as well. That will end the friendship for me.
I'll keep that in mind.
That please don't do that, because I'll take you to the moon. And you will take me, but don't remind me when you get ready to take me to say, well, I did take you.
The car next to you blasting music is something that sends him over the edge. Like,
yeah.
Preach on.
Well, I want to thank everybody for participating. Thank you all so much. Yeah, first of all, manage your emotions. Okay,
pet peeves are alive and well.
They are. So manage your emotions. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into our Let's Get Newsy for you all. And first and foremost, it has been a crazy week. And I want to say also, I want to thank Quincy Jones, because TV has been so hard to watch. Yeah. And I think in weeks like this, you need to have a show, a movie, or something that you can look at every day. I have seen The Wiz every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have seen The Wiz, and it has saved me from looking at that mess that has been on TV all week.
You've been easing on down the road?
I've been easing on down the road. I've been a lion, okay? If only I could feel, I got it all, okay? What is Blue still talking about? You only get that once. I will never ask you again for anything.
Somebody does, I guess you were talking about, yeah.
Look, see, Blue, you didn't let us hijack you, and now you think about your pet peeves, but thank you for joining us tonight.
He's on a roll.
He's on a roll tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a crazy week, and one of the things that over the last couple of weeks that Bobby and I have been struggling with and talking about is that we were wondering, what is the Black job? And so we want to tell you all tonight, your only Black job is to vote. Okay? It is nothing else. Please.
Very important.
Please. We want to send that message home this week loud and clear. We have to vote. You have to vote. You have to vote. Your life really depends on it.
Yeah, it's it really is more than just the notion of it. Like, it's really, really important that this election, I think, has implications that are significant in ways unlike any time that I think I've lived and experienced. I think that there have certainly been times when candidates have had differences of opinion about the ways in which to support and move the country forward and all of those things. Some people will say, like, social programs don't need to exist. Some people will say, like, climate change may not be real. Like, there are all kinds of things upon which we may have differences. But I really feel in many ways that the outcome of this election could really determine the democracy of our nation as we know it.
Absolutely.
Because we've got a party that has put out, made public, no shame in the game, a plan of how the country will change if they are in power. And so, and as RL Health is pointing out, it's not just the national elections, it's the local elections as well. Every election matters, whether it's at the local level or the national level, and your vote counts. If enough people sit at home thinking, well, my one vote won't make a difference, the collective makes a huge difference. Every vote counts.
Every vote. And Aral Health, you are absolutely correct. Local elections, as you and Bobby have just said, they do matter. I went to a fundraiser last night for a local politician, and I'm going to do more of those. And a fundraiser actually last night, and I'm going to do more of those because they are important. And if we start there, we should not wait until we're trying to pick the president. But as Bobby said, we are in a troubled time right now, and we cannot sit back and not vote, ladies and gentlemen. So please vote. And if we didn't get a bird's eye view of what we're going to see this week, let's go back to Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Last Saturday, when there was an alleged attempted assassination on the former president. Okay, and there's a picture here before we get to talking about this. Can we go back to that first picture? Okay.
Oh wow.
There's a lot to unravel here, and I'm going to try to stay very, what do you call it? I'm going to try to not go as deep as I can go on this, but
yes,
we all know what the Secret Service can do. And in a situation like this, the Secret Service allowed this person to do an 8 or 9 second photo shoot, a photo op. Are you kidding me? The Secret Service should have been on the ground under their shoes next to the shoe that he claimed fell off. So
it is completely unusual to see a target, anyone who is a target of an attempted assassination, to be up and visible, because obviously that makes you a very easy target. If someone's trying to get you and you're up in the middle of people, it makes it very easy for them to accomplish their goal.
It appeared extremely staged to me. And as I looked at it, first of all, I do not advocate violence at any level, any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I don't. But this looked a little staged to me. And I cannot get past it. And he used it to, promote this GOP rally, or what do you call it? Their convention this week. Yeah. And I think it was all for that. I think it was all for that. And one of the things that I'm glad didn't happen was the shooter wasn't a person of color. The shooter wasn't a Democrat.
No.
Either.
No.
Okay. At all.
No. And you raised a very valid question and concern as to, let us ask ourselves, if indeed this person did fit that bill, if he were an immigrant, if he were a person of color, how different the situation might have been handled, how different would the news coverage have been. We're just beginning to learn a little bit about the shooter. That they supposedly, as you said, were registered as a Republican, that they had done some searches in terms of both the former president and the current president. What I am really baffled by, first of all, I just think that the whole reaction to him would be different.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Were he an immigrant? Particularly with the convention just having gone, like that picture, if he were a person of color or an immigrant, that picture would have been huge at that convention, because they'd have been like, this is exactly why I need to be in charge again. That person was nowhere to be found. There was a person who unfortunately did lose his life.
Yes.
In that assassination attempt. Yes. There was a uniform and a helmet at the convention, supposedly to honor the loss of life of that person. The former candidate went up to the uniform, patted it on the shoulder, and kissed the helmet.
Kissed the helmet. I saw that on the news today. It was just,
Hey, Rodney.
Hey, Rodney, how you doing? Welcome to the show tonight. Yes, he kissed the helmet or the helmet. Yeah.
Strange. But there were just things that didn't seem to add up.
Mm-mm.
I have never seen footage of a situation where there was an assumption of an active shooter where no one moves. Like I'm still baffled by that. Like people have been killed or hurt seriously as a result of stampedes. Like people just scattering and like trying to figure out where to go. There was none of that.
None of that.
People kind of like scrunched down, but no one moved. But as you said, the whole notion that the target was allowed to be up and to be able to like do the fist pump and say fight and all of those things, because all of those images were front and center at that convention.
Right. Can we talk about the facts? I'm sorry, Bobby, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say the fact that the candidate was out earlier in the day at a press conference without any ear protection, and then that person shows up that night with this big, like, it's just very concerning, is what I will say.
Going back to the shooter.
Yeah.
The shooter got on a roof. Okay.
An open roof.
Roof. Like nothing. The shooter was even at the pre-press before they started the rally. During the preparations, they have him on film there.
Yes.
If that was a person of color up on that roof,
yes,
he or she would have been blown to smithereens. But entitlement, this person went right up on that roof, set up the gun, and shot. And people were asking me when I kind of made the comment about it being staged. They said, "You mean to tell me that that the former president would use someone as carnage?" I said, I had to laugh. Absolutely. They said, "Do you think he would go that low?" I said, "I can't imagine how low he can go because I don't know if I have no idea how low that is." And so I do believe that he has no regard for anything, anyone or anything if it gets in the way of him promoting his agenda.
I think that there are extremists out there who would support the casualty of life as a result of like that the ends to the mean would be acceptable. And that's really sad. I just think that's where we are as a society, that there are people that would be seen as a sacrifice for the greater good of whatever that objective would be. And it's really, really sad that we find ourselves in the United States of America, because obviously we have certainly watched such actions take place in other countries around the world and certainly stood almost in judgment of those things, saying like those things could never happen here. It's a government out of control, et cetera, et cetera. But, after January 6th, there were a lot of things called into question.
Anything and everything.
In terms of the government in the United States of America. So yeah, it's a very sad place. In all seriousness, it's a very sad and it's a very scary place. I think we find ourselves as we approach this election, and the notion of that same mentality, no matter what the outcome of the election, that there could very well be a level of violence and retribution and those types of things if the election doesn't go a certain way. So
prepare for it. Prepare for it. We got a couple of comments and we're going to roll. Dwayne says that's the part that he didn't understand. Black folks would have cleared those stands in a heartbeat, like it. Yeah. And Raul Hall said he's as low as the bedrock of the earth. Okay, I concur. And Sean says I'm baffled too. One bystander who was behind Agent Orange took out her phone and filmed the entire incident.
Absolutely. There were several people who felt like not running, but just standing there like this. And it was perplexing to me. I was like, wait, there's an active shooter and y'all are just,
I think she was a part of his team as well. So, all right, well, okay, y'all. Well, again, the truth may be revealed on that, okay, because I don't buy it. So can we move on to also this week, he picked his running mate, JD
Yeah,
Vance. Yeah,
yeah,
he picked
yeah,
JD Vance, and this person's only been in Congress for 13 months,
yeah. Just
and
so
he
reason.
will be the first millennial.
Youngest, yeah, vice president, yeah,
He will be the first millennial. Well, he's already the first millennial to be nominated for a VP position.
correct.
So, that's a whole nother conversation. We get to talk about millennials and how millennials think versus how we think. But I went online and pulled a couple of things that JD Vance has done that kind of raises my eyebrow. Are you
Okay.
familiar with him, Bobby, at all?
I have become more familiar with him since his nomination. I was familiar with his movie or his book that inspired the movie, Hillbilly Youth. Yeah. I did not see the movie. I did not read the book. But what I was familiar with, based upon some previous press conferences and so forth, was his adamant position that the former president was unfit, that he was that he declared him racist, that he had referred to him as potentially being America's version of Hitler, and that he declared himself a never Trumper. These were all things that he said previously.
Fake news all the way. He's fake.
All seemed to be like, well, once he became president, he changed my mind, and I don't feel that way anymore. So we're now supposed the things that you said about him possibly being our version of a Hitler in terms of treatment of people and his obsession with power, that he was unfit, that you would never be, all of those things miraculously are now no longer valid.
Well, he also blamed the Biden administration for allowing fentanyl to cross the southern border as a part of a deliberate strategy to kill Republican voters. Okay. He also said that
yes, Republican voters, not so people who are using drugs are okay. All right.
Right. Just Republican voters. And he said that if he had been in Mike Pence's shoes in 2021, he would not have certified the results of the 2020 election.
That is also very disturbing as well.
And he said if he was Mike Pence, he would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors. And he thought that the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. And that was just in February.
Yeah.
Right. So we know where he stands. We know where he stands. Yes, yeah. We
have an idea of if he is indeed to gain the position of vice president, the types of issues and the stance that he will have around some very, very, very important life situations.
Yeah. Well, while we're here and we're talking about the convention, let's talk about a couple of folks real quick that were there.
Move on from politics.
Well, no, we just need to talk. We actually, this part of the news, we're gonna stay at this convention because we need you all. If you didn't see, it was a mess. But there were some people there that we want to talk about and get your opinion on it. The first person is Miss Amber Rose. She was there. She spoke. This is the only speech that I saw. And she looked like she was AI generated standing on that stage. First of all, I was like, who is she?
Who is she?
Who is she? Who is Amber Rose? And some people had to tell me who Amber Rose was. That she was used to date Kanye West, and everybody kept stopping there. So, do you know who Amber Rose is?
I just keep hearing the old folks tell me when I was on, baby, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, just don't say anything. But I realize I am talk show host, so I need to say something.
You gotta say something.
But I will just say that it never ceases to amaze me the random selection of people that are selected to speak on behalf of a population or a group of people. And I'm like, so she is supposed to be speaking on behalf of what population? She's talking about the fact that as I saw excerpts from her speech, how upset she was about the economy, for instance, and how the price of daily day-to-day living has skyrocketed, and how pissed she is when she goes to the gas station to fill up her car and all of this. And yet she is this celebrity who I am assuming, or B-list celebrity at best, basically known for some reality TV shows and having dated Kanye West and some other people, which says so much to me. But I just was like, why is she up here? And who really believes that she is representative of a minority group or an underserved population? Whether that be
she doesn't claim it. She's not black. She says she's not black. So what population is she serving? The tattoo community? Who would tattoo your what was that tattooed across her head? And I'm gonna try not to judge, but anybody who has, you know, something tattooed on their forehead, I'm gonna look at you kind of strange. I'm gonna look at you strange. I'm not gonna judge you.
Now, do you know what those things are that she has tattooed on her head?
I haven't watched her close enough. No.
They are the names of her 2 children.
Oh, bless her heart. Okay.
They are. But, and RL Health, thank you so much. Thank you for realizing my struggle.
What is that?
RL Health is saying, like, you know, come on, Bobby, use your words to be tempered and like I am working to, there you go. Use your words to represent how measured you are on camera. Yes, I am trying to be measured, professional, and yet still articulate and express my opinion.
Yeah. What is Blue says money, and she needs the smell treatment as Chrisette. Oh, we talking about Chrisette Michelle? Ooh. Yeah. At least Chrisette had a career
and has talent.
Yes. And while we're here, we're gonna just briefly go past 3 people who did not want to be there last night, but were there.
Yes.
Ron DeSantis, first of all, who looked like he was GPT generated. Okay,
Why would you be there? Like, why would you be as badly as you were talked about? The sanctimonious, the nicknames, like, why would you be there?
Why would you be there to subject yourself to that? But to say that you support him because of the what do you call it? You support the party.
You're part of the party. You've fallen in line.
Well, and then it was his friend Nikki. Nikki Haley shows up, and someone said that she looked like she was at her ex-husband engagement party.
Oh, wow.
And they said her speech was so awful. She did not want to be there. Clearly.
Again, when you listen to the things that not I said, but that she said about how unfit this person is to be in this role, and to now all of a sudden miraculously, like, he's the person that we need to have in the office.
Right. And he will dog her when he gets in there. He will dog her. If he gets in there, he will dog her.
Absolutely.
He will dog her. And last but not least, this person broke tradition when she showed up last night, and it's Melania Trump. Not in 30 years have a potential first lady showed up to a convention and did not speak. She walked in, waved her hand, sat down, and looked like, if you all don't get me the hell out of here. Well, I mean, yes,
you're right.
Unbothered.
She was a first lady, but she's also a previous first lady. So she's potential and previous, and so it's broken all kinds of, but that's very telling to me too.
I just saw another statement by our producer, ladies and gentlemen. Before we're going to leave this, but he said, remember when Trump's followers were campaigning to be able to bring their guns to the rallies.
That's true.
And he said, thank God that was never allowed. And can you imagine had that happened?
It would have been a mess.
It would have been a mess.
Yeah, a lot of news to get through tonight.
Okay. In other news.
Yes. Yes. In other news. Okay. So now we're looking at some other news. And one of the things that I was speaking to Alvin about earlier this week was the Harford County Schools rejection of an advanced placement African American studies course in its hotly debated school board meeting that took place. And apparently there was a vote by this school board county right outside of Baltimore to reject this African American advanced placement African American history course. Some of the arguments that people were saying were that that we don't need to study this. It's very divisive. The more in-depth studies we go around this, it's the uglier it gets. But it is my understanding that there is indeed that a vote has been taken to reverse the rejection of the course. So there is still the possibility that the course would be offered, but it is a reflection of many of the discussions that are going on across the country in educational settings around the significance of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion-based learning, but in specific African American studies, the value and significance of it. And I find it quite interesting that you could say that the history of a people who have played such a significant role in the building and the foundation of this nation was built on the backs of African Americans. Mm-hmm. And so the whole notion that you can see the history of this people as insignificant is very, very, very telling in terms of, again, the need to even have the reminder, the reactive, not proactive, but the reactive reminder that Black lives matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. So being an educator, Bobby, is there a solution, in your opinion?
The solution is for us to always be able to continue to use our voices. It reminds me of the great late John Lewis, who reminded us of the importance of being in good trouble. We've got to speak up. If we don't speak up, our silence is interpreted as permission. Mm-hmm. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about African Americans. Mm-hmm. Those people outside of the experience also need to speak to the importance of our citizens being well informed in order to be able to prevent history, the negative aspects of history, from repeating themselves. Mm-hmm. What I am convinced of is there is a belief that if we don't teach certain things, then we create a generation of people that don't even see when something wrong is happening again.
Right.
Because you've not been taught about it initially. So there is importance in being able to teach from a place of truth in order to create a better society. That's if you want that to happen. So the solution is for us to be, again, to use our voices. And for those of us who have the capacity to be present at these meetings, school board, again, we talk about the local impact versus the national impact. Use your voice. Let school districts know that you feel that it is important that we teach American history. And a huge and significant part of American history is Black history.
It's Black history that they want to erase. Well said. Well said. Raw Health. We had a couple of comments here that we're going to go back on. Raw Health said, "Wow, I had to study all about the settlers of America to the New World, and it was never even mentioned how hostile Europeans were to its native population. Parents must step up and be responsible, and that it starts at home. Absolutely. It starts at home. And you're right, Michi. These are the only two people that we have to choose from. Right? Grab a drink and sit back with me." Because this is what we have to deal with. Right. I'm with you. And Bev says exactly 300 million Americans, and this is the best we can do.
What we got.
This is what we got. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Also in other news,
yes.
I'm sure you all have heard, Flying While Black, ladies and gentlemen. NFL Hall of Famer this week, the legend Terrell Davis was actually handcuffed on a United flight this week for asking the flight attendant to give him a cup of ice for his son. Let me tell you, if you haven't heard about it, he was on a plane with his 3 kids and his wife, and he was sitting on the aisle seat. His son was sitting beside him in the middle, and another son was by the window. His wife was on the other side, but a row back with their daughter. And his son asked the flight attendant for a cup of ice, and the flight attendant, how, they pushed the cart down the aisle, and the flight attendant apparently didn't hear him. And so Terrell Davis just leaned over and tapped him on tapped the flight attendant on the shoulder, because I don't know who it is. And the flight attendant screamed, "Stop, don't hit me." And he said, everybody on the flight looked and said, well, he said, "I didn't hit you. I just asked you for some ice." The flight attendant pulled the cart back, told somebody up front, and then somebody else came and started serving the people. Nothing else was said. But when the plane landed in Orange County, FBI stepped in and told everybody to stay in their seat, and they walked to Terrell Davis and put handcuffs on him in front of his sons. Without telling him what happened. Without.
There is a really good interview between Terrell and Robin Roberts. If you Google it on ABC News, I'm sure if you Google Terrell Davis and ABC Robin Roberts interview, it will come up. But he explains exactly as you did, Alvin, the situation. And literally, he was like thinking that the flight attendant hadn't heard his son ask for the ice. So again, like you said, just tapped him. First of all, if Terrell Davis hit you,
it would, right. If he hit you, you would know. You would be in somebody else's chair. Exactly. He literally just tapped this person. And I have not seen the flight attendant. You know what I'm saying? And so, but be that as it may, whatever the flight attendant was going on with the flight attendant, you accuse the person who asked you to do your job. Just ask you, "Can I have some ice?"
Right.
Right. And so, but that seriously happened. And so on a United flight, and United just apologized to him. But his wife is also speaking about how traumatized their kids were watching their father. Absolutely. And she had to explain to her sons, this could be you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yet again, another example of the talk that is not just a desired situation, but a requirement as being people of color, and in particular, Black people in America, of how to survive. This could be you. You could be sitting on a plane and be handcuffed for something as ridiculous as this situation. But I as far as that apology, I would say send that to my legal team.
I would say yes. I would say yes. Go ahead and get rid of it. All right. Well, you all, Terrell, take him to court. That's my thing with it. Take him to court. All right.
So Oral Health was saying that he was thinking he's ready, prepared to leave the country. Now, the question is, there are people who are certainly echoing that and chiming in, prepared, think about leaving the United States. But if things really, really go south, an apocalypse, anything like that, Costco right now is thinking ahead, because they have a Ready Wise emergency food bucket, people. There are 150 servings of meals, from pasta Alfredo to apple cinnamon cereal, in this bucket. Okay. And look at that headline. Costco wants to make sure that you are well fed when the apocalypse starts, offering emergency food buckets with a shelf life of 25 years.
Every home should have one.
Every home should have the Ready Wise apocalypse food bucket.
I don't know why I'm laughing. That's real.
And it can be yours for $79.99. 150 servings of food in that bucket. Where in the...
Only at Costco. Only at Costco. That's all I can say.
What, all those samples that y'all ain't eating?
That ain't all right there.
Oh my God. So the question is, folks out there, listen, are you going to get a Costco bucket? Would you get one?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm going to say now I know where it is. I'm not going to get one. I'm going to say now I know that they are available. That's what I'm going to say. Knowledge is power. And so thanks to you, And Costco, I do know now.
And
So,
it's good to know that it will last for how many years?
well,
20.
if thank you, Jesus.
There you go.
Just tapped me and said, I might be around, but I don't know. I might give it to someone as a gift. But thank you so much. Thank you, Bobby, for that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this week is pretty historic because so many advancements have been made in AIDS and HIV. And on July the 16th, it marks a 10-year anniversary of the first approved PrEP medicine for the prevention of HIV. As we celebrate this historic milestone, it offers us an opportunity to reflect on the progress that we've made over the last decade, as well as to commit ourselves to the work that remains. And despite the tools to end the HIV epidemic with medicines to both prevent HIV and provide treatment that allows people living with HIV to be undetectable and unable to transmit the virus, HIV continues to be a global health crisis. And in the US alone, it is estimated 1.2 million people are living with HIV, and almost 37,000 new HIV diagnoses are made each year. So, I mean, although advances have been made and, PrEP is here, it is never a time to let your guards down for being healthy.
Absolutely.
And so I just wanted to say, but congratulations, because who knew back in the 80s, who knew that at some point when people were just dying every day, you made a phone call and someone was alive one day and dead the next from AIDS, that we would be at this point in our lives. And so happy anniversary, PrEP. Happy anniversary. All right.
Okay, now I would just say on that also, but it does remind us, as you speak of the ongoing infection rate of HIV, that we still have to be responsible in terms of our sexual engagement, that we have to make decisions in our own best interest. We cannot trust others when it comes to our own health. People can tell you that they are on PrEP. My understanding that PrEP is most effective, like all medications, when people are consistent with what they're doing. I mean, there are a lot of things. It does not prevent the transmission of a number of other sexually transmitted diseases. So there are a lot of things that I still think that we have to be mindful of and be educated in terms of being able to protect our health when it comes to sexual activity and engagement. So it is a proven effective medication to prevent the spread of HIV, but it is also not a secret weapon or something that makes you immune to a variety of other things. So we just have to continue to be informed in what we do.
Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, we also want to take a quick moment in our entertainment headlines. We want to acknowledge 3 people who died this week that were very impactful to a lot of our generations. Dr. Ruth, Richard Simmons, and Shannon Doherty, all 3 passed away this week. And all three of them, I think for many of the people on this show tonight, you know all of who these people are, and we want to send our heartfelt condolences to their families tonight. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Also in entertainment news, there is a film that's getting a lot of buzz, and in fact, it is part of that buzz is surrounding the star of the film, Coleman Domingo, who many of you remember from Rustin and other films. If Beale Street could talk, all of those things. But there's a lot of buzz around his performance in this film that's called Sing Sing. And this is a film based on a real life group of incarcerated men at Sing Sing, which of course is the correctional facility in New York City. Coleman Domingo stars as Divine G, who is in prison at Sing Sing for a crime that he didn't commit. He finds purpose by acting in a theater group alongside other incarcerated men. Now, in this particular picture that's up now, that is Clarence Macklin. This movie is loosely based on his actual life. And Clarence Macklin stars in the film next to Coleman Domingo, who plays a fictionalized character of himself. Roger Ebert critic Matt Seltzer says that this film, it doesn't move or feel like any other prison movie or movie about theater students that I've seen. And its commitment to the truth of its character and of life itself is rare and precious. It is getting rave reviews. It was originally released in September in it was released at film festivals and so forth. It's now been released nationally in small venues, and it expects to expand, but it was released nationally on July 12th. And I've had a couple of friends who have gone to see it and said that it is an incredible performance. But we think it's really, really cool that Mr. McLaren gets to play himself along several other formerly incarcerated actors who came out of that program, that they are incorporated in this film. It's called Sing Sing, starring Coleman Domingo, and all of our sources say you want to see this film.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are in DC, please head to the National Portrait Gallery. As we all know and have been talked about, this year is James Baldwin's 100th birthday anniversary. He would have been 100 years old this year. And at the Portrait Gallery from July the 12th to April 20th, 2025, you can see an exhibit that's called This Morning, This Evening, So Soon, James Baldwin and the Voices of Queer Resistance. Please head to the National Gallery of Art, ladies and gentlemen, and check that out.
National Portrait Gallery.
I'm sorry, the National Portrait Gallery. Thank you, Bobby. The National Portrait Gallery to check that out. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm definitely going to be there. That is going to be one of my treats, my summer treat. I love James Baldwin, as you all know, and I cannot wait to go see it.
So how are we going to close? We're going to close out on a fashion note tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby, let's go ahead and we have a few minutes, so let's go ahead and close this out.
Well, as you guys both know, Alvin has been involved in the fashion industry forever, and I've always been a lover of fashion. And so we talk about it quite often here on the show. He said. And one of the people that we were talking about recently was Fantasia and the fashion evolution of Fantasia. And what I can say to you is Fantasia was not always the Fantasia that we see today. There was indeed an evolution. And what we want to do is give her credit for being present and showing up in this moment and really seizing the moment and doing so with style. She has a stylist in particular that she works with, Daniel Hawkins, who has just done extraordinary things. You guys know that we often speak about other fashionistas out here like Zendaya and so forth. And I think Zendaya and Alvin and I both love Zendaya. Zendaya is a pretty easy person in terms of fitting and so forth. Fantasia is a curvaceous woman. She's got the top, she's got hips, she's got thighs. And we see a lot of people of that body type who are not fitted well, who are not presented well. And all I'm saying is Daniel Hawkins has created an image of perfection for Fantasia, whether it's the outfits, the fitting of the clothing, the makeup, the hair. She just looks fantastic. And she's shining in her moment. And we've shared some of the images. This is one of my favorites right here. Just the hair, the fitting of the outfit, the class of it. Like she's in her moment. And we wanted to take a moment. Here she is before she was performing recently in Detroit at an opening of a new facility out there. And she was channeling some Tina Turner in this outfit. And we're going to close with one of my all-time favorites. I just think this is class and elegance personified. So we want to just take a moment to give a fashion shout out to the evolution of Fantasia.
Kudos to Fantasia. She's been knocking them dead since the Color Purple press tour, and she has not stopped. So kudos. Thank you for that Friday fashion moment, ladies and gentlemen. So look, and thank you, Sean. Thank you. I thank you for complimenting me on this shirt. Thank you. It is definitely one of my favorites as well. I appreciate you, my man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. We are at the end of our show. Next week, we will be back again with another Let's Get Newsy segment, or who knows, we might have a surprise for you. But our words of the week, ladies and gentlemen, for this week: don't ever think you did something wrong by asking to be treated right. And those are words by Mark Anthony. Don't ever think you did something wrong by asking to be treated right. All right. Did you all hear that? Okay. Bobby, thank you so much. Hey, really appreciate this is our inaugural Let's Get Newsy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. And we look forward to seeing you all next week on the next episode of He Said.
He said.
He said. All right. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you all. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.
Just keep coming. You all have a good night. Wow. They just don't want to let us go.
And they don't want to let us go.
They won't let us go.
I can understand that.
Well, you know what? We have the best producer in the world. And so we must have been doing something right.
We're still here.
Something right.